Yeah, okay. Hello and welcome to the Thomas Tuchel Fantasy Draft. It's going to be a bit of a casual sort of thing. If you're watching this on Squib TV later on, if it goes up there, apologies that we're not on our shirts with a nice stadium background, but joined by a few guys in the studio, myself, Sam, Jack, Rob, James and Dean, other guys drafting across the country and the world. In fact, I've got someone drafting from America as well today, so hopefully it'll be quite a good draft. What I think I'm going to do is I'll just give you a run through the teams that we've got going. So first pick's going to be Jack with the Pepperoni Pizzas. Pepperoni Pizzas, they have had a very good time so far in the league. This is our third season, and for the first two seasons they've got the best winning record, made 2 Super Bowls. Unfortunately for Jack, he's lost both those Super Bowls, but this could easily be his year. Second, drafting Broncos for the win. Another guy called Jack knows the league really well. Awful start last season. I remember James commenting that he actually he lost his first 7 games, but was very close to making the playoffs later on. So fingers crossed he'll have a good team this season. Then we've got Kings, my own team, double Super Bowl champion now. The only team that's actually won the Super Bowl. However, had an awful record last year and just scraped into the playoffs. So fingers crossed to draft a bit better this year. After that, I've got the Flaming Wheels. That's Rob's team. Rookie this season, has no idea about the NFL. Hopefully this will help him get into it a bit more. No idea who he's going to pick. That'll be an interesting one if you are watching this to find out who he goes for. Then you've got the T-side team, which we can't say the name of, obviously, because profanities are not allowed. That's James's team. Obviously, Squib TV viewers will be familiar with him and his outlandish views. Obviously claimed that the success trainers indefinitely left Cincinnati, which Dean wasn't happy with. Speaking of Dean, the Flying Bailey's picking at 6. Dino hasn't drafted the last 2 years, but he's been very competitive each time. He did mess around with his team a little bit the first year. Wasn't so involved last year, but almost made the playoffs. Then we've got El Toro Grandes, very unfortunate not to make the Super Bowl. Started poorly, 0-3, but then won every game up until the playoffs. Had one of the best records last year. Hopefully he's set some auto picks up because he is at work, so he can't take part in this one. Then we've got Dre Tones, no idea what his team's going to be like. He was alright last year, he was up there towards the end, made the playoffs. Got battered in the playoffs, but at least he was up there. A lot of his season was banking on Marcus Mariota, who got injured. Just news coming in, actually, El Toro Grandes is actually currently live and in the draft. We've only got 2 teams that aren't in the draft. Draytone's one of those. Then we've got TB12 Prodigy, Alex. This guy knows a lot about the NFL. No surprises on who he's probably going to try and draft with the name TB12 Prodigy. Then Sheffield Salamander's another rookie coming in. His first season in there. Hopefully he'll do fairly well. Then it's on the clock, or if it's on the clock, no idea what's going to happen with them. They're going to be an auto-pick team, so I assume they're going to pick the guys that we haven't decided on. And then last but not least, picking at the end of this first round, but then picking first in the second round, Dave with Sam Top, Ash Bottom, the name which is kind of outdated now, seeing as Ash is no longer in the league. Dave managed to pick some free agents last season, so hopefully this season he'll pick a bit better. Just want to have a quick word with him, just because I haven't spoke to him yet. Just Dino, if you can remember his name this time, James. Dino, you're looking forward to this draft. First time you've done the draft on the NFL, done a bit of research. You feeling confident with what you've got in front of you there?
I am, yeah. I've done some research. I've got a strategy.
That's always good. It always helps to have
I'll tell you positions that I'm going for if you want.
Well, yeah, go in the first round. I'll
tell you what the position I'm going for in the first 2 rounds.
Go on then. Yeah, I'd like to hear that.
Definitely a running back.
Definitely a running back.
Rounds.
I'm sorry if you can hear the beep there. A bit off, like James said, he's a little bit behind. I'm also going to send mine down to no sound. And there is David Johnson has gone. He has been selected in this draft. Broncos for the win is on the board. On the clock. Yes, you'll get a little sign which says draft when it's your go to go. So yeah, interesting. Hopefully you haven't. Le'Veon Bell, as we expected, the first 2 players have been selected as planned, and the first 3, if my click worked there, it didn't. Nor did it work. It has worked now. Okay. So there we go. No surprises there. And Rob's picked Zeke. Did you? Yep. Which is a very good start to this T side. On the clock now. And he's gone for Mike Evans, a player I highly regarded myself I was going to take there. So let's see what Dino goes. He's changing
It changes as the actual draft is going on. So
James, Mike Evans, I like that pick. Tell us why.
I can't really reveal the full details, but there is a strategy behind all of this. He's guaranteed to get you points throughout the season.
You have to
He
click
certainly
on the
is.
player's name and then click draft.
Just Dino with a few technical difficulties there, but we'll see who he's picked. Antonio Brown, great pick. Jack,
I can tell you what the position I'm going for in the first 2 rounds.
Go on then, yeah, I'd like
Definitely
to
a
hear that.
running back.
Definitely a running
Both
back.
rounds.
Draft.
Just Dino with a few technical difficulties there, but we'll see who he's picked. Antonio Brown, great pick. Jack, I'm just going to hand this mic over to you. What do you think's going on here?
Yeah, it's very strange. I wasn't expecting that first 7 with Tom Brady going P7.
There you go.
And
Rashad
you know what
Perriman.
we're coming up to here?
Mr. Irrelevant.
Mr.
Let's see what Adam
Irrelevant
Thielen goes, and
is-
Mr. Irrelevant's going to be. We need to see this because I missed it last year. Pick 1, 5, 6 in our draft, which is Mr. Irrelevant. It's going to be Dave.
Come on, Dave.
Pick someone decent, Dave. And
No.
I hope he doesn't need a kicker or a defense.
He doesn't know
Who does he need?
anything he wants. He's got a kicker and he's got a defense.
And who did he pick?
who was Mr. Irrelevant?
Chris Ivory. was
Chris Ivory.
picked. So quarterback Derek Carr.
Oh,
Running backs, you've got 4. You've got David Johnson, Bilal Powell, Mike Gillisley, Paul Perkins.
I'm happy with that running back team.
Yeah, I think decent ones there. Gillisley, hopefully he'll start a bit more. Perkins probably will be the starter now at the New York
And
team.
Bilal as well.
Bilal Powell probably will start as well. All starters at least. Receivers, Jordy Nelson, Alshon Jeffrey, Allen Robinson, Willie Snead, John Brown. John Brown, I think, is decent. Willie Snead was good last year. Allen Robinson probably will do okay. Alshon, I imagine, will be fine. And Jordy Nelson's decent.
Jordy Nelson was a steal for where he was. I had to take him.
Jordy Nelson's a very good player there. Getting Rob Gronkowski at tight end, interesting pick if he stays fit. That's going to be a
It's
steal.
very risky, that.
Mason Crosby kicker, fine. Bengals, solid defense.
It's just a D.
Jack, what do you think of your draft overall then?
It's not as good as half of my mocks, but I can't be disappointed with it. I've got David Johnson there. I've got Derek Carr, QB I like. Not the QB I wanted, but a QB I like nonetheless.
Which QB were you planning to go for?
I was hoping to get Drew Brees, but I wasn't willing to go earlier than the 5th.
He went in like round 3 or something, I think.
In mocks, I was getting him round 5 every time.
Yeah,
but in our
difference-
league,
yeah.
the QBs went very early. So
James, what do you think of Jack's team? Steam that mic over there. James, what do you think? I mean, it's on the board here. If you can't, you probably
try
can't
and get
see
up
it
on
very
my
well.
actual
Yeah,
place here.
yeah. I mean, what do you think of that team? So, QB, Derek Carr, decent
Well, that's the
running
guy who
backs.
was with him last season, solid pick.
Yeah, I mean, what are you thinking of it?
David Johnson, obviously the main guy, expected to get probably the main amount of points. Bilal Powell, probably the main running back at the
I think he'll split snaps with Forte,
Yeah.
but I think he'll definitely start probably
Nelson
more
steal,
games.
as you say. Gronkowski, another steal, I think. If he stays fit.
I know.
If he stays
Anyone
fit.
on that team that you would have liked to pick, James?
If I'm honest, not really. But that, because there's so many players in the league. But these were not the sort of guys I was thinking at all.
Personally, I wouldn't have taken any other. Bilal Powell was on my board as one of the backs that I took late in, but
Crosby possibly
other
for
than
me.
that, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have said no to any of those players, but I wouldn't have. Probably would have. I think that's a solid team. Dino, you think that team's all right? Any opinion on that one?
I don't really know any of them, to be honest.
That's fine. Rob, I would ask you the same, but I assume you
Obviously,
will be
Gronkowski.
very much
if he can
in the
stay
same.
My sleeper and bust list, and I got most of my sleepers. So.
Well, yeah, I think that's been a decent draft. So we'll go. Well, who was next in the draft? It was Broncos for the win, wasn't it? But
It was, yeah.
Broncos for the win. So these guys he has got 2. He's actually managed to get himself 2 quarterbacks, which is interesting with the 4 players on the 4 players on the bench. Mariota and Rivers. I assume he'll be starting Mariota. James, you got the mic there. Do you think he'll be starting Mariota?
You would imagine so. I mean, yeah.
I think he's got a very nice running back selection. Le'Veon Bell, Jay Ajayi if he's fit,
I like
Christian
this team.
McCaffrey,
I
Duke
think
Johnson.
it's a very good team.
Receivers, Des Bryant, Demarius Thomas, Davante Adams, Mike Wallace. Solid. Can't say anything more than that. Eric Ebron, he's the risk for me. At tight end, I don't think he plays that well.
No, he's not.
Matt Bryant, great kicker. Giants defense, one of the best in the league last season. Any players you would have taken in that one? Anyone? Well, you can answer that, James, if there isn't any.
Potentially, but not really. JJ, Le'Veon, obviously.
Le'Veon Bell, yeah, the second overall pick.
And Devante Adams is pretty decent for the last season.
I like Devante Adams, yeah. We'll move on to my team then. See who I've got. Fairly interesting team, I think. Fairly mixed. I really like it, but obviously it's because I picked it. And I thought
sure
that it was
running back car there, but
Spencer Ware, Carlos Hyde, Jeremy Hill, and Jacquizz Rodgers. I'm not necessarily sold on, but wide receivers, I think I've got 4 great ones: Julio Jones, Tyreek Hill, Martavis Bryant, Kelvin Benjamin. Tight end, probably the best or one of the best in the league in Kels. Defence, the Chiefs, I really wanted the Chiefs defence. Matt Stafford, I know he can air it out, and Graham Gano, just average kicker because I needed a kicker. Running back's probably my weakest position, but I think I'm fairly happy with the rest of the team there. Who picked after me? Was that Rob? Let's see what Rob is like, because I mean, this guy had no idea what he was doing really.
Ooh, it's not a bad team.
Matt Ryan, MVP, is going to start him. Ezekiel Elliott, Mark Ingram, Robert Kelly, Terrence West. That's a nice running backs. Keenan Allen, Eric Decker, Rashad Matthews, and Ted Ginn. Obviously, I have doubts about Ted Ginn, but if he returns kicks, that's decent. Zach Ertz, Jack, do you think he'll do well?
Yeah, he's all right. He's just a tight end, really. You're not going to get many points from a tight end either way.
And I like the pick of the Rams defense. I think that's a solid pick. Just that's the good thing about the Rams, that they actually have a good defense. After that, was it not the Teesside team themselves?
It was the Teesside team.
The Teesside team. Let's see what the Teesside team did. So Jameis Winston is at quarterback there. Leonard Fournette, Ty Montgomery, Latavius Murray, Derrick Henry, very solid. Mike Evans, Sammy Watkins, Emmanuel Sanders, Jeremy Macklin. I like it. Rudolph and Henry, then Vinatieri and the Cards. I think that's a pretty solid team. I quite like that team.
I'm fairly confident with it. I think definitely getting that tandem in.
Anyone else want any of those players? Anyone else, would they have picked any of those players?
Evans.
I mean, I would have picked Mike Evans. I was prepared to pick Mike Evans
if he dropped,
number 3 if Julio went. If Le'Veon dropped, I was not going to pick him. Let's have a look at Dino's team. Interesting to see. Dino Manu researched it well, and his team looks pretty good for me. Ben Roethlisberger, great QB. Only 3 running backs: Jordan Howard, Todd Gurley, and James White. Jordan Howard and Gurley will start. James White, I assume, will be the bench running back. Antonio Brown, Jarvis Landry, Terrell Pryor, they'll probably all start. Then Meredith and Marshall. 2 brilliant tight ends. Good kicker, solid defence. I think that's a team that potentially could be very much up there.
And I just like I've got, he's got Big Ben and
Antonio. Dean, do you just want to make a comment on your team there? Because I think that's one of the better sides.
I was fairly lucky with how it went with Antonio in the first round being left till 6, which I wasn't expecting. So I happily snapped him up, and I've got Tyler in there, so I've got a Cincinnati man in there, even though the success train has well and truly left. But overall I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I think that's a very good team. That's one of the teams I think is one of the better ones.
Antonio dropping to 6 is obviously me not showing faith in my own side there.
Yeah, because you picked Mike Evans over him, which I would have done as well. But who was after that? Who picked up? Was that El Toro Grandes after that? We'll have a look at them anyway. And they get... I think it's classic glove selections. Tom Brady, obviously, he's going to get him loads of points, but he went for him in round 1. Dak Prescott, no one else can have Dak now, which is a decent move. Marshawn Lynch, old running back who's moved to a new team. Adrian Peterson, old running back who's moved to a new team. Matt Forte, old running back in his 2nd season at a new team. CJ Procise probably won't play. You never know with these guys. They might all be really good. I just don't see them being that well. T.Y. Hilton will be great. Michael Crabtree will be all right. Randall Cobb will be all right. Marvin Jones will be all right.
It'll be all right.
His team's average, isn't it? I think he's one of them teams where he could do really well, but it's definitely banking on Tom Brady being really good for me.
Of course it is. Yeah.
But Tom Brady is going to be really good, isn't he? But it's based on him.
I feel like that's a bit like Jack's team, though. Depends on Rob.
On Gronkowski, and the Raiders. I think it was Dre Tones at this point, so This was an auto-pick team which has Andrew Luck at QB. Then it has DeMarco Murray, Joe Mixon, Tevin Coleman and Theo Riddick. Decent running backs. It has Odell Beckham, Mike Thomas, Amari Cooper, Jameson Crowder and Corey Davis. I just think he's got too many receivers there and he's missed out on other players because you can't play all 4 of those top 4 guys and they're the people that play there. Jack Doyle, Dan Bailey, Vikings defense, average, decent team. Yeah, but you had not as good ones as he did, I don't think. Especially Amari Cooper's his 3rd best one there, according to this, which means Jameson Crowder won't play, which I would play. Jameson is the one. Dre Tone's team. After that, we have Salamanders. Oh, no, I think we missed TB12 Prodigy. I'll look at TB12 Prodigy at this point. Hanson's picked well. He's only got 3 receivers though. Edelman, Jackson and Garson, who are all great players. Running backs, Freeman, Blunt, Stewart and Bernard. QBs, 2 to choose from. If Breeze isn't doing that well, Cam might be having a good season. Jimmy Graham, Antonio Gates, Janikowski in the Texans defense. I like his team a lot. The players in there, I would have gone for the Texans if I didn't get the Chiefs defense. Deshaun Jackson was on my board. Devontae Freeman was on my board, as was Jonathan Stewart. So I really much like that one. Sheffield Salamanders will go to now. Kirk Cousins and Eli Manning, you don't need both of them. Kirk probably the better. Frank Gore, old guy. Lamar Miller is good. Akeem Abdullah probably will start for Detroit. Fitzgerald's great. Kenny Britt's great. Stephon Diggs is great. Dante Moncrief's going to make plays, and Brashad Perriman's one of the stars in Baltimore. So I think that's not a bad team. Delaney Walker, one of the best tight ends. Will Lutz in the Broncos defense. I think he's all right. I think his running backs are pretty weak, but I think we find that with a lot of teams. I think it's the running backs that have.
I think a lot of people are taking risks on the running back positions. So
yeah, I think it's very hard to find
the good
starters.
Running backs went early on, didn't they?
Yeah, the running would go instantly. Is it then if it's on the clock? Russell Wilson. This guy's got every good running back. That's why he hasn't actually. He's only got 2. LaShawn McCoy, Melvin Gordon, Dalvin Cook, Doug Martin won't play. Danny Woodhead, Brandon Cooks, Doug Baldwin, DeAndre Hopkins, Adam Thielen. Wouldn't have gone for Adam Thielen in a month of Sundays. And they play on Sunday as well in the NFL, so that shows how highly I rate Adam Thielen. Greg Olsen, good pickup. Cairo Santos in the Seahawks defense. Seahawks aging defense probably not going to be as good as they used to be. And it was an auto-pick team. I don't really like rating them because I just think it's a bit boring. If you can't be bothered to go on it, then yeah. I mean, I don't know if he was busy, but he saw the messages. And Dave's team.
It was all right.
Aaron Rodgers, solid QB. Sam Bradford, decent backup. Isaiah Crowell, I like. CJ Anderson, I like. Eddie Lacy, could be all right. Chris Ivory, could be all right. AJ Green's going to get you grabs. Golden Tate's going to get you grabs. Marquise Lee's going to get you grabs. Chris Hogan's going to make plays. Jordan Reed, Stephen Gostkowski in the Panthers defense. I think that's one of the teams that could be up there challenging for the playoffs. You never know how the season's going to go. Based on last season, this team would be probably maybe even in the Super Bowl, to be honest.
He's in my division, I'm worried.
He's not. He's in the division which also has the El Toro Grandes, which I'm not particularly worried about. Kings, and Broncos for the win.
It's a top division, right?
It is because you put all the guys who were good in last season in my division, so I didn't win the Super Bowl again.
Oh, right, yeah.
Basically, whilst your division has everyone who wasn't in it last year. So obviously wasn't. No, the division. You can't rate any because it depends on what the teams are, and you don't. I mean, Dave's team looks good there. Aaron Rodgers gets injured, then he's only got Sam Bradford. AJ Green has a bad season, or CJ Anderson doesn't play so well. You never know. I mean, and you're looking at teams that. I mean, Glove's team. All it takes is Adrian Peterson to come back like he used to be, and Marshawn Lynch to be good, and he'll be a fantastic team. You can't really predict what it's going to be like, but overall, I think fairly successful draft. Anyone want to mention anything about it, and how do we find it all? All right.
Well, we'll just see how it goes from the 10th of September.
Go on, Dean, yeah. Enlighten us.
It was a lot faster than I thought it would be, and the concentrations through the scale.
It is very, very.
It was very intense.
It's much more intense and much more difficult than the normal football draft, which I was very chilled out about. If you
I want
have
in.
watched it, or if it goes on Squib, with the good bits, because I doubt the full thing will go on. If it does,
An hour long now.
well, maybe it won't then. But maybe even if we just put the ratings of the teams on there, let us know what you thought of them. Let us know if you would have picked different players. Any players that aren't involved in our league that you think should be, because I think there's probably some players in there that we've missed out, which probably could have been picked. I mean, my running backs I'm not necessarily the most confident on. Let us know if you thought it was all right. Yeah. Anything anyone wants to add, or are we all good to end this stream?
Well, the Flying Baileys are already projected to get more.